approved on October 5, 1998, for constructing an addition or additions to the R.J. Gray Junior High School and for remodeling, reconstruction, or making extraordinary repairs to the existing structure, including costs incidental and related thereto, that the Acton-Boxborough Regional School District Committee is authorized to petition the General Court for an act to permit the first principal payment on such borrowing to be not later than 5 years from the date of issue, and that the last principal payment be not later than 25 years from the date of issue,
the second motion,
and that the Acton-Boxborough Regional School District Committee is authorized to take any other action necessary to carry out these projects, provided, however, that no debt may be incurred under this vote except for up to $1,150,000 as to the Ray J. Gray Junior High School addition and renovation project, for planning and for other preliminary expenses, until the State Board of Education has included the region's application for a state high school construction grant as to the project on its list of completed project applications, showing the priority assigned, and provided that this vote shall not take effect until the town votes to exempt from the limitation on total taxes imposed by general laws, Chapter 59, Section 21C, Proposition 2.5, amounts required to pay the principal of and the interest on the borrowing authorized by this vote for such project, and provided further that the town of Boxborough approves a like article. Is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Stuntz, I recognize you.
We described this article in our original presentation. I don't have too much more to say. You are voting on the renovation and addition to the junior high school. It will be a 61% reimbursement, and Boxborough will pay its share as to the regional agreement, and we will pay ours. This does require a 2/3 vote, as did the first one.
Your comments from the floor. Seeing no pro comments, David.
David Black, 237 Central Street. It occurs to me there's been a lot of stereotyping in town. I mean, people being classified into two buckets: those who are in favor of the schools and our children and the town and the community, and those who are opposed, who are some combination of the big bad wolf and the Grinch that stole Christmas. I don't fit into either of those pigeonholes, and so I hope that people stop and listen to what I'm about to say. I support the elementary schools. I just voted for the elementary school article, and I intend to vote for the override. I have severe concerns about whether the junior high school expansion is fiscally responsible. The problem that I see is that what is being presented to us as a space expansion is in fact a much, much bigger project on which this label is being slapped to try to get it by us. It's interesting to take a look at the costs of the junior high school by comparison to the elementary school. The junior high school addition builds 13 new classrooms at a cost on the order of about $1.5 million for each new classroom we add. The corresponding number for the twin school is about $400,000. You can also look at it from a grade standpoint. The junior high school expenditure solves the problem for 2 grades. That cost is on the order of $9.5 million. Now, some of that is Boxborough's, maybe about $2 million, so we're looking at about $7.5 million per grade. The corresponding number for the twin school, 7 grades, about $3 million a grade. Now, I understand that once you get to a junior high school, you need to start spending more money, and I expect junior high school to cost more. But I was expecting a factor of 1.5, not these factors of 2.5 and 3. So I think the proposal that we're being given is oversized. If you were to look at this as just a space expansion proposal, we need another 13 classrooms and appropriate additions to the central space. That cost shouldn't be more than on the order of $600,000 a classroom, or perhaps about $8 million, and then add in additional costs because the renovations we're required to do to get state money. The bottom line is, I believe, is about $5 million of cost in the junior high school proposal. It shouldn't be there. Now, that isn't going to sink any ships or wreck any trains, because Acton's share of that is about $1.6 million. Spread that across a 25-year bond, we're under $100,000. That's noise in the budget, and we can cope. The big problem is the high school. The high school proposal is probably, every time I turn around, it goes up. Now it's about $45 million. I'll bet you tonight that by the time we're asked to approve it, it's going to hit $50 million. That's $15 to $20 million too much. And if you approve the junior high school, you will be giving the folks up front a mandate to bring you a $50 million senior high school proposal. You've had your opportunity tonight, and I hope you voted with me to cast a vote for our schools, our towns, and our town and our children, our community, by voting for the elementary schools. I now ask you to take a deep breath and cast a vote for fiscal responsibility by voting against the junior high school so that we can stop this problem at the regional level. Thank you.
Ms. Stuntz?
Just very briefly to clarify, the reason why the junior high expansion and renovation seems like it costs too much is that the junior high is now at least 45 years old. The junior high needs a lot of renovation. If we do not get it reimbursed by the state at 61%, it is going to come out of our pocket. A conservative estimate of that renovation is $4.9 million to the towns of Acton and Boxborough if we do not do it in such a way that we get state reimbursement. If we do it along with an expansion project for enrollment purposes, we get 61% reimbursement. The only things that are being done to the junior high are what are required by the state for reimbursement. This is not a Taj Mahal. This is doing the necessary maintenance on this very old building. You saw Dore's slide about how many times it's been added to. It really needs renovation. We're getting the state to pay 61%.
Before we have another speaker to the amendment, or to the motion, I'd like to recognize our state senator, Pam Reeser, who has a point of information that might be helpful to us. Pam?
Pam Reeser, 5 Proctor Street, and I want to speak basically to what Lee's just said.
Just a bit louder, please.
Lower, okay. This is an important issue in terms of the state funding. Over the last few months, I've heard over and over again about how much we want to get more back in terms of state funding to help with our education process. And there are many towns, as you saw in our neighboring towns, who are doing building projects, but communities throughout the state are proposing building projects at this time. And the school building assistance money generally is somewhat limited, and you're waiting sometimes for some time before that comes back to you. It's very important that we move ahead and that we move in a systematic way. We've done, we've looked at the elementary, but it's also true in the junior high. And as Lee said, you have to do the full job in order to get that funding. Boxborough faced this when they did their new building, that they had to renovate all the existing classrooms also. It's very important that we move at this time and get in the line for these funding mechanisms at this time, and pursue the state for additional funding for other education expenses. I'm looking forward to your letters, but it's important that we make these motions now. Thank you. I urge you to vote yes.
Thank you, Pam. I think I'm back to the pro microphone. Mr. Hunter.
I just wanted to underscore the previous point, because I'm not sure it was made as clearly as it might have been in response to Mr. Blank. You can't compare 13 classrooms in junior high school to the appropriate number of classrooms in the twin school, because it's not new construction. When you renovate and you add, it is inherently more expensive construction. That was why I urged for 2 years that we concentrate the elementary building in a new building. You're going to rebuild all the way through the junior high school, and it will end up functionally like a new building. The state requires that it have at least a 50-year life. So you're not just adding the 13 rooms, you're rebuilding and renovating throughout the entire school. So to compare that with a completely new school is the traditional apples and oranges. If I didn't make it clear in my presentation at the beginning, the Board of Selectmen recommends a yes on this vote too. Thank you.
Mr. Cadley.
Mr. Moderator, is this working?
It is.
Good.
I hear you.
Well, I'll speak from here or from anywhere else you want me to. I am recommending a no vote on this for a slightly different reason than the others. The major reason why we need more room at the junior high and later at the high school is because Boxborough enrollment is now growing and will continue to grow to levels which are historically higher than we ever had before. I would actually have less problem with this proposal than with the other one if it weren't for the fact that our newly renegotiated regional agreement subsidizes Boxborough to the tune of roughly $750,000 on this particular Article 2 dollar amount. That's the 5% that we discount Boxborough's share, and we have to pay even though it's Boxborough's enrollment that's driving this thing up. Further, we have also, under newly renegotiated regional agreement, given Boxborough what is known as a rolling average, 3-year rolling average, when we calculate the percent enrollment, which is then applied to which town pays which share. Doesn't seem like much. Boxborough's enrollment, which I have view graphs, but I won't bother. Boxborough's enrollments are growing at about 1% per year, and you say, well, all right, 3-year rolling average, the difference between taking the actual that year's relative enrollment versus a 3-year rolling average is only about 1%. True, but it's 1% of $16 million. That's the yearly operating budget. So Acton is now paying an additional $160,000 to $200,000 a year on operating budgets because we have a totally one-sided regional agreement. The sad part is it didn't have to be that way, doesn't have to be that way. Boxborough is populated by very reasonable people who probably would agree that the way to split the cost would be on a straight enrollment basis. For those of you who remember October 1st, I would have been perhaps able to give you a little more information, but we had something called a 5-minute limit on debate and didn't quite get to it. You add it all up, including the high school, and it adds up to over $4 million that this regional agreement is going to cost Acton, as opposed to an agreement that would be straightforward, proportional to enrollment. So I think the only way we're going to get that point across, and another point which I will mention in a second, is to vote no. The other point that we need to get across are the operating budgets related to this. You've heard the school committee tell us tonight that it's really just an increment of 5 or 10%. I'll explain to you how they get that. The amount of operating budget that's projected, if we approve this, is this much. The amount that they say we need to spend if we do not build is this much. Both of them are unaffordable. It's like saying a Ferrari only costs you a little bit more than a Rolls-Royce. Come next April, I will repeat, because it does relate to this article, Mr. Moderator. It's the total of the two. You will be asked for a general override of between $2 and $2.5 million. If that override doesn't pass, the operating budgets will be devastated. You will be told that. Teachers will be laid off. Music, art, whatever will be eliminated, like we saw that a few years ago. Other terrible things will happen. And you know, sooner or later, terrible things will happen. There's also such a thing as a $25 per thousand tax rate ceiling. Thank you, Mickey. I see your nice sign. Very nicely done. That ceiling is within sight, and if we don't stop the rate of increase now, we're going to be there crashing later. Your choice.
Recognize a pro comment. Thank you.
I'm neither pro nor con. I had a couple of questions of clarification. I understand that the junior high will be voted today, and the high school will be construction 2 years from now. That means that the kids who will be in the junior high will first go through the remodeling process of junior high while they're there, and 2 years later, when they'll go to high school, they'll be hit again with the construction when they move over there. I do not feel that this is very reasonable to expect the same kids to pay twice for the construction, construction which goes around them and hence will disrupt their education. I was wondering why was the decision made to make junior high first, and exactly 2 years later, when the kids who will go through all of that will graduate to the high school, will be hit again. Why not the other way around? High school first and then junior high, then not the same kids will be hit with the construction at the same time.
Okay, do you understand the question, Mrs. Stuntz?
Yeah, I believe I do.
It's just the first one. The second one, I heard several times.
Let's take one at a time. Go ahead, Mrs. Stuntz.
Fine.
The enrollment bulge rolls through the system. If you notice those graphs that had the elementary school enrollment, the junior high school enrollment, and the high school enrollment, they rolled through the system. In other words, we're going to run out of space at the junior high sooner than we're going to run out of space at the high school. And the other thing is that the high school is a more expensive project. We still have to deal with the elementary schools. We tried to phase it in three increments.
Well,
if you do these two
is
first,
easier because they do not disrupt, because it's a different building. So construction of the of elementary school does not disrupt the classes going in other elementary schools, while the construction junior high upgrades and high school upgrades do disrupt the classes. I mean, regardless if they will try to make it as accommodatable as possible.
there is absolutely no doubt, but what the children will be experiencing that are going into 7th grade next year they will be experiencing a disrupted 7th and 8th grade, and they are likely to be experiencing a disrupted 10th and 11th grade.
I question that. That's exactly the decision I'm questioning. Why do we,
Well, I tried to explain to you it was because that's the way the enrollment goes, and because we are trying to address the first two pieces of the bulge and then the last piece of the bulge.
Can you give me the numbers? What will be the bulge in the junior high school in 2 years from now?
The enrollment numbers for the junior high school 2 years?
Compared to the current ones, because we are talking about the bulge. So my assumption is we are talking about 1 or 2 classrooms. I don't know the numbers, so I would like to hear some numbers.
Would you like to take your question offline and come
Why
up
don't you
here
come
and
here and I'll
ask
show you
Mrs.
the
Stuntz?
enrollments.
I think to give you a thorough answer, it sounds like it's taking a little more time than you might want to burden the other members here with. Okay? If you resolve your question,
I know the numbers are increasing in both elementary school and junior high and high school more or less on the same level. I'll
take the next speaker, Pro, and sir, please come up and talk with Mrs. Stuntz and try to resolve that question. Thank you. Mr. Hunter.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Dre Hunter, 3 Foster Street. I wanted to briefly respond to Charlie's comment on the regional agreement. I'll plead guilty to being one of the negotiators, And then Charlie and I look at this as a glass half full or a glass half empty. Yes, we did not get Boxborough to completely surrender its position of advantage. One rarely gets a complete and abject surrender from the other party in a negotiation. But we gained a great deal of ground, and I'm not ashamed of it, and this meeting voted for it, and Boxborough's meeting voted for it, which showed that our judgment of what would pass in both towns was correct. And I submit that the regional agreement is a decided issue, and we should go forward and judge this project on its merits and not on trying to look back to an issue already decided. Thank you.
I recognize the gentleman who was here a bit earlier and left briefly, but is back to make a comment. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to go through some numbers. They're relatively simple, but try to follow me along. The $40 million at about 6% over 25 years requires roughly $3.2 million every year from the town. Now, let's look at how the town income grows. This year, the town income grew $800,000 just from new properties. The tax 2.5 permits additional taxing of another $800,000. The total is $1.6 million. In other words, half of the $3.2 million. Now, in 2 years, it's $3.2 million a year. So what it really says is, without the exemption, if those monies can be freed up, they pay for the schools. Now, the problem is really to downsize the central government that eats up $13 million a year. It's like industry. Downsizing of industry has gone on, and they have gotten rid of the people. So what we are really faced with here to a large extent is downsizing of the 13 million so that we can take the growth that comes, the 800,000 from the new tax property, the 800,000 from the 2.5 tax increase every year, and the 3.2 million after 2 years, and pay for the schools. So my argument basically is exclusion in this warrant is not needed. What we need is fiscal discipline in the central government to eliminate the excess spending and to downsize the central government, and this exclusion is not needed, and I recommend that you not vote for it. Now, if anybody has any question on those numbers, they're rather straightforward. $40 million requires $3.2 million per year to pay it off. You can get that from the growth in the town tax base and the growth in taxes that goes with the 2.5 proposition. And so the exclusion is basically not needed. Thank you.
John Murray.
Yes, go ahead. I recognize Mr. Liberty.
The school committee will stand by the financial analysis of the finance committee. I believe that the discrepancy has to do with the numbers that you're quoting, sir, not taking into account state reimbursement. We have a commitment that we will not go forward without state reimbursement. We will have that state reimbursement, and we stand by our numbers. Thank you.
Mr. Murray, do you have someone who'd like to be recognized to speak to the issue?
Yes, I do, sir.
Alex Horowitz, 407 Great Road. A point of order, I'd like to call the question.
Paula Feynman, 1 Great.
Question has been called. It's not debatable. Let's vote on the question. Are you ready to limit debate at this point? If you are, please signify by saying aye. Aye. If you're opposed, nay. Nay. The vote passes. Before we begin the count, I'd like the tellers to go ahead and, yes. I'm sorry? John?
The motion passed in this room.
Motion passed as well. I'm sorry. I thank you very much for that point. I'd like to announce the actual result of the vote on Article 1. We received 1,184 votes yes and 387 votes no. Motion passes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for this vote on the junior high school, Article 2, you need to vote with the white ticket that you received, either yes or no. Okay? You also need to show the orange ticket. That makes you credible. So when the ballots are passed to your area, you know to vote with the white vote, but show the orange as well. All right? Let's begin.
Moderator.
No, it's not. The school people are always, we may not get our good votes. Yeah, overwhelming cast. As soon as we can do
I can see. I think we got it. Please, I'll introduce you. I'll introduce you. John, do you have a completed ballot in the auditorium?
We have not, Mr. Moderator. We have one small section yet to vote.
Sorry, can't hear you, John.
No, we have not.
I'll hold up his hand if it's so good.
Yeah. John, would you hold your hand up if you are complete? Guess you're not. Okay. It's not. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Mr. Moderator.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you return to your seats, please? I'd like to recognize Mrs. Stuntz of the school committee, who has some very interesting information on the vote in the Boxborough town meeting. Mrs. Stuntz?
Thank you, Dick. I would like to announce the vote in Boxborough on the junior high school. Boxborough voted for the article overwhelmingly.
While we await the count for Article 2, I'm going to present Article 3. So please give me some silence. Motion Article 3. Mrs. Stuntz moves that the town authorize the Board of Selectmen to transfer to the Acton-Boxborough Regional High School District for purposes of constructing an addition to the regional junior high school and for parking and related accessory uses, appurtenances, and necessary infrastructure, the fee or any other interest in land owned by the town bounded by Massachusetts Avenue and Charter Road in return for the conveyance by the Acton-Boxborough Regional School District to the town of the fee or other interests in commensurate area of land owned by the Regional School District northeasterly of Miriam School for town purposes. All of the town and the Acton-Boxborough Regional School District agree, intending hereby to authorize the Board of Selectmen to take all actions necessary or appropriate to permit the construction of an addition to the regional junior high school as authorized under Article 2. Do I hear a second? Mrs. Stuntz, speak to the issue.
Basically, this article transfers enough land from the regional school, swaps land from the town to the regional school district, and the regional school district will give the town a piece of land equivalent to it in order for the regional school district, which is a legal entity, to own the land underneath the addition to the junior high school as well as the parking lot. We need to do this in order to get reimbursement. The regional school district has to own the land on which we're building something. I urge you to vote yes. This is the final article tonight. This is the final piece of the puzzle, and I would appreciate a yes vote.
Mr. Ashton, of the Board of Selectmen.
As Mrs. Stuntz just said, the purpose of this article is for the town to give permission to the Board of Selectmen to negotiate a land swap with the regional school district so that the addition to the junior high school may be built. The Board of Selectmen recommend passage of this motion and voted unanimously 5-0 to recommend approval. Thank you.
Mr. Murray in the auditorium, do you have someone to speak for this motion? Speak pro to the motion, excuse me.
No, sir.
Go ahead, John.
Yes, I have someone who wishes to speak.
Miracles of technology, huh?
Mr. Moderator, we do have a person who wishes to speak.
I recognize that person.
Alex Horvitz, 407 Great Road. Point of order, I call the question.
I have to tell you that I get these little messages coming back and forth in the auditorium saying from Mr. Murray, please let us say something. But every time we give him an opportunity to say something, he calls me and tells me we want to cut the debate. So we'll vote. All those in favor of the motion to limit debate, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The motion clearly passes. So we'll vote on the article. We can do this now by voice vote. We do require a 2/3 majority, so I need to hear it very clearly. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Nay. This is clearly a vote. Now let us hear from the auditorium. Let us hear from the auditorium. John, how are we doing in the auditorium?
Please do not leave. This vote has not been taken yet. If the division is called, they will take a standing vote. If you're not here, your vote will not count. Please do not leave.
The chief teller informs me that we can't leave the room until he's finished counting the vote on Article 2. So I guess we're just in a wait for just a moment until we can complete that ballot. And it sounds like the auditorium agrees with us, so we're very happy with that. Article 3, if I didn't make that clear, has passed by a 2/3 vote.
Can we make a very short clarification?
While we're here, let's recognize Mr. Liberty to make a comment.
I have been asked a question which I suspect may be of general interest. If, as has happened, the first vote is positive, that's already been registered. If the second turns out to be positive and the third we now know is positive, the question was asked, do we still need a general election? The answer is yes. This does not take effect unless we receive a majority vote a week from today on December 8th in the general election. It must pass both. Thank you.
Town council has informed me too that for Article 3, although we clearly all heard that we have a 2/3 majority, we do want to count those who have voted nay to be sure that we have not made an error. So those on Article 3 who voted nay, please stand. Article 3, voted nay, please stand. Have some patience while the teller makes that count. Say again? That's good. Thank you very much. You can be seated. Thank you. Mr. Murray, do you have a count in the auditorium of those who voted nay on Article 3?
Yes. No one voted nay.
No one voted nay. Technology works. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
The chief teller informs me we have one more duty, and that is because we've counted 24 nays, we need to count more than 24 yays. So, I'm sorry. So, yeah, I just asked 24 people to stand up, right? That's fine, we saw them. Thank you. I thought. 110? No, so far it's been a very good meeting. It's been a good meeting.
That time when it came up, and that was a total failure of the operating system. That was a total operating system. I'm amazed at
I hope so. I really do. All you do after the vote. You have the first vote? Give up the first vote. Count for the first article. And now we're waiting for the count for the second. But I was surprised there were only 1,688 votes cast in that first one. I thought there were well over 2,500 people.
I guessed 1,700 in here.
Did you?
And then 500 over there. But this was total, right?
Yeah, that's all the votes. So some people must have. Yeah, 2,200 actually. So I think maybe, I think maybe some people had to leave. I'm not sure. I'm sure everybody voted. Everybody was here, so they voted. My fellow voters, I have a count on Article 2. There were 1,126 votes yes, 336 votes no. The motion passes two-thirds majority. Let me turn the meeting over to our Board of Selectmen.
One last order of business before everybody leaves. Could I have your attention, please? I hope that we all get together and give a hand to Dick O'Brien, who's stepped into the hot seat and did a very good job, supported by our Acton local police department. With that, I dissolve this meeting. Thank you.
Move to adjourn.